Guys, what's up? This is the McAllister's podcast. I'm your host, always, Coleman McAllister. Joined today by a good friend of the show, someone we've had on semi-frequently, David Mwirichia, doing our annual addressing of the nation. That dog is going to kill me. I can already tell. Right off the bat, just having to scratch. That has been just like a trial and tribulation with that dog, man. On the live streams, this fucker's just like, shut the fuck up. And she's one, so you can't really do anything about it. But anyways, man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, it's been an eventful year. 2025 was interesting. 2026 has certainly started off interestingly. I mean, we're 3 days in and we're already national headlines in. So, but me personally, I'm good, man. Another year, can't complain.
That's good.
This is my third one or fourth time on here.
Yes.
So yes,
fourth time on total, and then this is the second time we've done like a, kind of a breakdown of what happened this last year. You and I are both politically inclined, and we're basically family at this point, and we have plenty of talks about that. So fuck it. I have a podcast, so why not?
Let's do it, man.
Let's
we can do the state of the state, then the state of the union, then the state of the world, and
all of it. In case anybody cares about our opinions, they can listen.
Here they go.
So, as I was telling you before we started the podcast, one of the things that I always try to prioritize when I'm talking about the news or what's going on with current events or whatever, is I always try to focus on the state because, Washington is its own entity in a sense. Like, you can make the argument for voting, whatever. I don't really buy into that. But like at the end of the day, what you have the most control over is the area that's directly surrounding you. So I think educating people on that is what's most important, end of the day. And I think last year we did this and it was kind of, we were kind of grasping for straws of what was really going on. This year has been crazy. We've had a crazy year in Iowa politically. Some things even making national headlines in the case of Ian Roberts. So I don't know. The first thing I think that is relevant that we should talk about is the water nitrate problem. That was something that has been. I feel like that was like the first big thing that happened in the state that has really affected a lot of people and is still a problem. Like I don't think they've really done. I mean, it's the winter right now, obviously, but I don't really think they've done much of anything.
Well, to
prevent that.
Yeah. And just a quick summary of that. I mean, the state nitrate levels in all the state rivers, but primarily the Des Moines River, which is is a river where most of Metro drinking water comes from. I mean, the nitrate levels were almost 2 to 3 times the federal minimum. And so, I mean, everything was working, they were cranking all the water filtrations. They were working, 24/7, maximum capacity. And it just shows that, as far as being prepared for these kinds of crises or just being able to foresee what the state can handle. And I think when we think of what's going on, what are big political issues, I mean, this water that's coming in from your tap, I mean, you're interacting with it every day. Some legislation that somebody passed, in Washington, that's not going to affect you as the water that you're using to cook for your family. And so I mean, I really like how you started with this issue, because I mean, that's something that not only can you see it and touch it, I mean, it's literally goes inside you. And something that people don't talk about is Iowa has some of the highest cancer rates per capita.
True.
And so just really knowing and being plugged into your local politics and what you can impact, because you make noise about this, no one can ignore it. Water doesn't care what your political opinion is. Nitrates get into your system, get into, your baby's system. I have a young child, and so I was very invested. I mean, from all the water that, my kid and that my wife drink is all filtered. And I mean, I go and I buy it just because, as a precautionary measure, because I don't know how much I can trust, the water in the state of Iowa. And, I don't really drink the filtered stuff. I grew up in Kenya. I'm fine. But everything.
You have the antibodies.
Yeah.
So anyways, on this whole water nitrate thing, I think I think you kind of touched upon it, is like one of the biggest problems with it is like we are kind of letting the state kind of determine how that all goes, right? Like, you know, you can blame the farmers for putting their chemical in their on their crops and then that affecting the water. Fine, like that. I'm not going to say that isn't a factor, but then like what is like supposedly the buffer between that, right? These government officials should have let us know that this was a problem, like eons before this point. Eons before the point where people, you know, you see it on Facebook all the time, right? Like people have their little water thing and they're like, it's still red. You know what I mean? Like we should have known this like way before we did. You know?
Yes, and I agree with that completely. The only reason I'm not surprised is because when you're talking about, you know, professionals and the government and, you know, people, just nerds, their biggest fear is being wrong and looking fucking stupid.
Yes.
Or having to come and say, hey, I fucked up. Like, this is my mess. I have to clean it up. None of them will ever do that because that you know, gives, you know, that opens the door. I mean, once you admit we fucked up, then you can get sued and all these things. And so they'll
lose your job?
Yeah, you lose their job. And I think they've been more scared of losing their status because, you know, fair. A lot of these people, they get fired, they go to the next firm, you know, or you don't, you know, you lose your seat, you go work as a lobbyist or somebody because you already have all these pre-installed connections. But just really going back to that, I mean, as far as like the importance of being plugged in to local politics, I think being able to either, being able to get in front of the people who are making these decisions and have your voice be heard. I think that's something as far as like what you can do in the state of Iowa. And so and that's very like directly impactful. Something a little bit indirectly impactful that on a lighter note, so before we get all into doom and gloom with the cancer rates and things like that, as far as just the Ian Roberts thing, in summary, the Des Moines Public Schools superintendent, fun guy. I don't say I knew him. I met him a couple times. I talked
Did you
to
really?
him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him in a couple of soccer games. And he was an extremely visible superintendent. In the sense where he made it a point to attend all the graduations, all, you know, major sporting events. Anytime a Des Moines Public School team went to state, he was there, and he was always in a suit and like some brand new forces, you know. And so you can't miss him. Like you know, you go to a soccer game, you see a brother in a nice suit, and so he was visible. I mean, and he interacted with the kids, and so he did a really good job of like being the face of what, you know, DMPS wants to be. And so as far as like if you could pick someone to like, you know, be your like model representative, you have this, you know, African American man, you know, he has some braids on, but you know, he has, he's got a nice suit, you know, he speaks well, you know, he says all the right things, but then you hear the breaking news story. And this was just hilarious to watch because I was talking about it in a group chat. Like I had a group chat with a bunch of Hoover soccer guys, so all Des Moines Public Schools people, and it starts with, you know, he got arrested, you know, over what, like and there was a gun, and he ran, and they found
that was the stupidest part.
And then there's a hunting knife. I'm like, where are you going with a hunting knife? I'm like, what? And like they ran you down? Like
that was the dumbest part, dude.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, really, anytime you're in any kind of situation with the police, like whether it's right or wrong, you should just listen to them. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's going to help you tenfold as opposed to run. Like if you run, you're basically fucked. Mm-hmm. Now, he's a high profile figure. I think the case, even though it's a federal case, it is happening in the Des Moines area. Mm-hmm. There's and you know, with how left leaning this area is there's a very good chance that he might actually get off. But he would have had way easier time if he had not fucking run. Stupid as shit. With a gun.
Where are we going with a hunter? Like, what are you going to do? I'm like, Ian. I'm like, wait, what? Like, and that, like, yeah, and I agree with you completely. I mean, when you're interacting with the police at that level, like, don't give them a reason. Don't make them uncomfortable because, like, it doesn't end well for you. Like, you're not gonna win a fight against any police force. You know, if you want to do that, go to Brazil or something. But like, not here in this country. Like, it's not going to end well for you.
No.
But another thing that it does is it really destroys, a lot of the credibility, because I mean, he got that job with his back. I mean, so you have to do a background check. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Even, like for the job that I have to go and give 10 years of, residence history, criminal history. Like, everything has to be disclosed. And so if you see that, hey, these things don't line up, like, you can handle that internally.
Yes.
If you really want to go about it that way, but just letting it linger and choosing not to address it. And for those who don't know, he had some prior charges and he lied about his educational history.
Yes.
And these are things, you can just send an email to like the school and say, hey, did this person graduate? That's it.
Well, and honestly, man, this is why I think that the school board was complicit. I think, like, look, there's no evidence for that per se, but immediately in the aftermath. Okay, well, actually, so the first day after he got arrested, they suspended him, but with pay. Mm. So they weren't even willing to not pay him. And then finally Monday came around. They're like, okay, we won't. They're like, okay, we won't pay him. We won't do that. But I mean, and they have sidestepped into just blaming this third party that they hired. They're like, we hired a third party to do the background check. It's like, okay, what? All of people's taxpayer dollars are going towards your income. Mm-hmm. If you're really going to be this public servant, if you're really going to be this person who's like, I'm going to do what I can for the people, you better do damn diligence to do everything you can to even the utmost amount of background check, like what you described, or like even like for my menial jobs, the background checks I've had to go through, like they sound way more intensive than anything he went through to get this job, making almost $300,000 a year. It's insane.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna go as far as you would say. I definitely think that they were complicit, but at minimum, they were very negligent.
Yes,
because
100%,
and being negligent, that just means like you're in trouble because you're not allowed to be this dumb. You can't be in this much authority. Like if somebody's, it's like if somebody goes and pretends to be a doctor, and the hospital doesn't check on their credentials at all, and they go and butcher someone, like the hospital is like, they can say, well, if you messed up, your negligence led to a horrible outcome.
Yes.
And so that's why there has to be some kind of accountability for that. And I mean, and Ian Roberts, he wasn't, operating on people, but that's the leader, that's the head of the largest school district in the state of Iowa. I think it's the second largest employer in the state of Iowa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
DMPS hires, not teachers, bus drivers, custodians, lunch. There's a lot of people who work with DMPS from K through 12. It's one of the biggest.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
damn.
And so if that's your leader.
It's a big deal.
We got to run a background check, and his responsibilities are significant because you're impacting the lives of these children, their educational curriculum, what their teachers, when they're negotiating their salaries and things like that. And so, for the board members to be that negligent, to not see that, and I doubt, I have a hard time believing that somebody didn't see this. Or just say, hey, this looks fishy. But then who's going to be the one to raise their hand and say, I'm going to go and challenge I'm going to go accuse Ian Roberts of lying,
Not going to go well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because, there's, you're playing with people's jobs, right? Like if that person goes into that situation and is like, hey, I want to file, I'm going to leak it to the press or whatever. I'm going to do what I can to make sure they're going to fire you immediately. Yeah. And these people have families, they have children. When it comes down to that, most people are just going to look the other way, and understandably so. It's not even their fault for not necessarily their fault for not saying anything. It's the people like Jackie Norris and the people at the top who really played a role in just at best being negligent, at best not doing their diligence.
And for him, I think his case is going to be in the federal district here in Iowa. So it's still a federal case, and even the state charges, I think those are going to be addressed in the federal court as well.
Okay.
Because federal courts, if you commit a federal offense and there are other charges that relate to that that offense that are state charges, they can still be tried. Because I mean, they'd rather do them all at once than to do a couple of charges here and a couple of charges there. And so I think it's all going to be handled in the federal court. But I think he also had immigration issues, and so that's a pretty, especially under this administration. It's a fair.
He's over here like,
I kind of know how that one's gonna.
Can we push this to 2029 possibly?
Yeah. Which is also, I mean, that one's also got to be, like, you have to be aware, and even on him, like, your status. There's everyone who's potentially in that boat knows their status, and so it's on him. And again, you can handle that without it becoming, a whole case. So I mean, going about it, internally, I mean, if you reach out to the federal government, maybe you should have done that last year, or, in a more friendly administration, you can make friends there. And, and again, this is politics. This is how the game works. Like, everybody wants, like, I think you said something about him being a Michelle Obama aide or something like that. And so, like,
so he knew. That's the craziest thing to me. It's not like he was ignorant of any of this. Like, he would have understood that.
Yeah. And, like, going through the political route, you can find people who are going to help you. Like, I mean, because again, nobody wants to look stupid. I mean, nobody wants to be the person who hired a guy whose immigration status is questionable at best to be in charge of a school district. And so, if the people but the fact that didn't play out, I mean, it's good. It's messy. I don't see how he wins the immigration issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that one, very little confidence on. But I mean, just overall, just the lack of accountability. I mean, and there has to be some real accountability with this, because especially for DMPS. And again, like, he was a really good public figure for the school district. A lot of people took pride in him, what he represented, and how he made, like, I would see these kids' faces light up when they got to meet Dr. Ian Roberts. Not a doctor.
Yeah, not a doctor. No longer doctor.
But I mean, but those things, like, and so then now you got parents having to go and explain that to their kids. Oh, that was fake. Like, and so not just like the political or the social effect, just the effects that you're having on these people who used to look up to you. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's kind of how people felt about OJ in the 90s. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
You got the running back doing commercials, and he's what? he murdered 2 people, and so like, just the demoralizing effect that it's had. I mean, and he has to own that part, because like, your negligence, your lack of being aware of the situation, your lack of doing something when you're in that situation led to all this. And so that one, that's a big L, and
huge L.
I feel that one in my heart, man.
Well, and Jackie Norris comes to mind a lot, because I talked about her. She was the one who went on and in the news circuit and addressed a lot of these things, and was addressing, when she was on the board, she was addressing a lot of these things.
Was she the radical empathy lady? Was that her line?
You want to actually do 2 things for me, Molly? Do you want to pull up a picture of Jackie Roberts? And then do you also want to, you can just open up another tab, and then type in Rob Sand, Des Moines Public School DMPS audit. Because he did say that he was going to audit this, but this was months ago, and I'm honestly curious if that's actually, doesn't look like it. Yeah, it said October of last year, and that was why I worried. I mean, I know these things take a long time, but I was worried about that he wasn't. Yeah, this is Jackie Norris.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this lady before.
Yeah, and she did actually. I can't remember if it was House of Representatives or Congress, or there was some. Here we go. Dropping out of U.S. Senate race. So she did actually drop out of that, and Joni Ernst and Kim Reynolds also dropped out of their re-election. So I mean, I think that was a huge win for Iowa. Mm-hmm. And I think the things that were beautiful about that was, like, it was just the pressure of the people, right? Like, Kim Reynolds, literally, it was just like a poll. like she had a bad poll. She was the only governor that went negative, and she's like, "Fuck, I can't," you know. And then Joni Ernst had like the comments where she was like, "Too fucking," I don't even remember what she said, like "too fucking bad" or whatever. Yeah. And then everybody got bit. Like, you know, you can say what you want about voting, but like I think was the most effective. Like and that was just such a white pill moment for me. Like seeing like all these representatives be like, "Yeah, I'm done." Like, yeah, it would be great if they resigned, you know, that day, like they should have. But like, hey man, like they're not going to be around much longer. And I think that's a really positive thing.
Yeah, and Kim Reynolds, she's been around. She's like a dinosaur, man. She's been here forever. Wasn't she like lieutenant governor before forever? Because she was appointed at first. Yes. So she's been in that building for a while, and so like, you know, whatever.
It's time for her to go.
Yeah.
It's been time for her to go, but
exactly. Yeah. And I think Joni Ernst, I think her Senate run, I think since what? I think she was 2014, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see her make any pig squeal. Have you heard of her making? Because
Joni Ernst?
Yeah.
No, not since the incident. Yeah, she's been pretty quiet.
Yeah. Because I mean, her whole shtick when she was running, I'm going to Washington, I'm gonna make them squeal. I remember her. That was her running commercial.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, you don't know that? No.
Let's, Molly. I'm so sorry. Do you mind pulling that? Yeah,
pull up
I gotta watch this.
Joni Ernst, make them squeal. This was like her first campaign ad because like her shtick was how she's like this Northwest Iowa girl who grew up cutting the balls off of pigs, and so she's gonna go. Yes, that one right there.
Was that who Trump said "quiet piggy" to?
I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm. So when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork.
Joni Ernst, mother, soldier, conservative.
My parents taught us to live within our means. It's time to force Washington to do the same. To cut wasteful spending, repeal Obamacare, and balance the budget. I'm Joni Ernst, and I approve this message because Washington's full of big spenders. Let's make them squeal.
Let's make them squeal.
Dude, she did not age well.
Yeah.
10 years?
Well, she was, I mean, that's yeah.
That's what politics does to people, man.
It's full of monsters and demons in D.C. I mean, remember Obama when he went in there? He was, you know, dark hair and came out gray and old and gosh.
Even Trump, man, like he's, you know, he has a lot of cosmetic work on him. Like his hair's fake and everything, you know, but like even him, you can tell like, oof.
Yeah,
it's taking a toll on him.
Yeah. And I mean with her, I think she went through some kind of divorce or whatever. But I mean like you signed up.
Wonder why?
You know, she but like you're gonna be a public figure. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think she really accomplished anything. I mean, I think spending, and that's the thing. I think that's what happens because Washington is such a giant machine.
Exactly.
That essentially once you get in there, it's always running. And if you fuck up whatever group project they're working on, we're not going to listen to some ho-dunk, you know, senator. We're not going to let her come here and fuck up the, you know, F-35 project we're working on because she wants to do an audit. It's like, listen, lady, by the time we finish explaining to you what we're doing, you'll be up for re-election. So we're not even going to bother, you know, and that's why, like, in Congress or in the Senate, but especially in Congress, they don't let you in on a committee until you've been there for a couple of years. You know, and that's why, and then the senior Congress members, they're the gatekeepers, you know, and they're always, and there's always someone ready to be primary to get you the fuck out of there. And the people who've been in there forever, like your Nancy Pelosi's and others, they're very protected because they're not just important. Like, they don't care about the people in the district. They care about her being the gatekeeper. So all the Democrats get in line. Remember AOC was going to come in there and shake things up, and then Nancy Pelosi told her to shut the fuck up, and she chilled out. Like, they're like, you can say shit on Twitter, but you're voting this way. You know, and like Nancy Pelosi, like, she's not just important as the gatekeeper in Congress. She's like the people when they're gonna do, like, you know, Project Iran Part 2, or we're building, you know, this new nuclear a submarine. she's the person that they talk to. Is like, you can't fuck this project up.
Yeah.
You know, and so, and that's what I think really makes it hard for all these ambitious politicians to go in there at that level. There's so many, like, you know, gates that you have to go through to be able to make significant impact. And that's by design. And so I think, and it's very easy to kind of get, you know, the black pill with voting, because, you know, like, that person going in there, like, you know, okay, let's split up. Red team over here, blue team over here. We're all going to Israel first. But then after that, we're all going to, you know, split up. And
you're trusting them against, you're trusting, like, their, like, team, you know, I can't even think of the term, like, their team spirit or whatever, like, that they're just going to do the right thing. You're trusting that opposed to, like, against, like, a lifetime of, like, you know, because if she just play, like, if any of these people just play ball, I mean, they can rake in money, power, like, they're, once you're, I mean, they're not even in Iowa. I mean, from what I understand, I mean, they're probably not even in Iowa most of the time, right? They're, like, literally in DC. It's all a charade, man. Like, and they tell people, like, oh, I'm gonna root for you, like, I'm gonna do what I can for Iowa. Once they get in there, they don't give a fuck about Iowa. Like, that's just where they came from, you know. Like, I grew up in a town, I don't give a fuck about that town. I'm here in Des Moines, you know. Like, why would I, you know, go out of my way to, like, help, you know? And, like, it kind of makes sense in a way, but, like, when it's this government system where there isn't really any choice. I mean, people think that there's choice, but, like, at the end of the day, like, these people are going to be in Washington. They're going to do, you know, it's just not a true semblance of, like, what the people actually want.
Yeah. And which is why I think it is more important to participate in the local election, because these things that you actually have a say. Sure. You know, like, you can, like, you know, the state congressperson, the state senators in Iowa, at least they should, most of them live in the state of Iowa. You know, they live in Ankeny, they live in Johnson, here in Des Moines, Urbandale, you know, like, what, you know, wherever, Sioux City, you know,
Sewer City.
But, like, those people are here. But Washington, it's, you know, the most important capital of the most important country in the world. And so the things that go in there, I mean, there's so much institutional power, institutional resistance to change. And when you come in there, you are immediately treated with, you know, I mean, everything with, you know, the utmost, like, you kind of kept at an arm's length until they figure out, you know, who you are. You know, what, like, are you going to play ball or not? Or are you going to be an asshole and try and shake things up? You know, how much power and support you have in your district. Like, AOC, she has staying power, and she keep getting reelected, they'll just bench her.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can be a congressperson and be on 0 committees, which means you're not really doing anything.
Exactly.
You know, and so,
and some people would look at that as almost worse, right?
Yeah.
They'd be like, if this person's playing ball, they're at least, like, a part of the thing. But, like, if I vote for this person, they're not doing jack shit. Like, it's super easy to turn that narrative around and be like, oh, look at this person, like, they're not in any committees, they aren't doing shit, like, vote for me, I'm gonna, like, and then that person is just gonna play with the big dogs, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the game right there. It's like, are you gonna, you know, and this is what I think happened to AOC. They're like, okay, what do you want? You know, we're gonna give you something so that you can seem like this new lady who's bringing in changes and that, but, like, on the real shit, when we're talking about, you know, we're gonna go do a regime change here or there, we're gonna go and, you know, build this thing or you know, large geopolitical project, don't touch that.
Yeah.
You know, because we can make your life hard. And yeah. And so, I mean, for me, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how to get around that system. And I don't know if there's really an effective way to do it unless either you just go in there with unless that's your plan, to expose the system for the shit that it is, and you have some strong backing in your district, and then you'll need to get people on your side in order to do something like that. But sending people to Washington, I think you should, when you send anyone there to, you know, the land of monsters and demons, lower your expectations of what they can do, you know, because there's some high level dragons in there that very old, very powerful. And so, like, you know, Joni Ernst, she said all the things. She, you know, she's rich now. She, you know, so
Yeah, dude, it's like it's like that Bill Hicks joke where they like when the president gets elected, they like take him to that back room and then they show him like the other angle of the JFK assassination, and he just turns to them. He's like, "Okay, what do you want me to do now?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's always so much power.
And I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you think that because I mean, we all agree that the world used to be run by kings and all the lords and ladies of the court. You think they just stopped and like, let's be democracy. Let's give the peasants the power.
No. Yeah. And I mean, I will say, I mean, the system we have is still far better than that.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. Like, it's still a step in the right direction, but I think it's also it's just silly to paint it as like this thing that's like, oh, they truly represent us and they truly, it's just that's just not the case at all.
And honestly, I think we just changed the label.
Yeah.
More than actually change the content. Because you look, who's the king right now? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And all the lords do whatever the fuck he says. And sure, we have like an anti, the blue team, but like they're all the same fucking people.
Yes.
They all went to the same schools. They all fucking work the same companies. They all fuck each other at the same conferences. So it's like when there's a scandal, how many times do you think the red team's inside the blue team? So I mean, I'm just like, you guys are all, and you all live in the land of monsters. Like, just because
they all flip flop all the time.
Yeah, so just because you're wearing a different jersey doesn't mean you're not a fucking horrible person.
Dude, that's like Chuck Schumer like taking the reins on like the the anti-Gaza stuff. He's like, and which I mean it's just so slimy because like it is a good call. Like, fuck what Israel's doing in Gaza, right? Like, we'll get into that a little bit. Like, it's terrible, but like to have Chuck Schumer be the poster child of that. Like, I am this like really good person who's going to like, dude, you're one of the slimiest motherfuckers in the world. Like, what are you talking?
It's handing the baton from one Zionist to another and saying, "I'll do better." It's and so like the one thing I'll say like as we shift from like local politics or whatever is just and this might sound doom and gloom, but lower your expectations and don't let them surprise you by how shitty they can be. Because people like, again, everyone has their intent and they know this. Like, there's so many more like plugged in smart. I mean, there's people whose entire job it is to know how to get what they want from certain people, especially in Washington. They know, when you get elected, when you become a U.S. House representative and you're in a position to when your one vote can fuck up billions of dollars. Oh, we're hiring some people to know a lot about your life and what you do, what you like and what you want, what you've been looking at, who you've been talking to. I mean, and again, for them, it's like, this is very important to us. So we're going to have a team that can apply pressure when applying pressure is necessary. And so, yeah, with Joni and everybody else who goes in there, I mean, I have very realistic expectations.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing that's missing from our political dialogue, just people being realistic in their understanding or like their expectations of someone. Like, you're one person. Like, you're, I mean, even name your favorite president. How much did they do? Barack Obama, fantastic, on the campaign trail. Once he got into Washington, we're going to increase the number of troops in Iraq.
He was a brilliant orator. Oh. Like, he gave some really powerful speech. But I mean, that's part
of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be able to get in there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, it's a fucking, you got to put on a fucking sideshow. Because like, there's no pre-qualifications other than, being born in the United States.
Yeah.
So exactly. I mean, it's the most important job with the least important qualifications. And so if you have a guy who can, say all the right things and he's quick on his feet, and he's charming, and you only have to win 51% of the people. They don't all have to like you.
Yeah, that's very true.
You just have to find your niche, and then some people bring a couple people along, and you're good. Say what you want about Trump. Trump, he's good at that fucking game too. I think him and Obama, of at least my generation, have been the best like politicians as far as, you know, really building a base of strong followers. You know, you still have some ride or die. Just to talk about Obama bros today, and that was like almost 20 years ago. That he had his first campaign, you know, and so and with Trump too, I mean, you have the MAGA diehards, and that is still, you know, MAGA diehards.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And we you know, I know, and I think, but like, that's a big part of being, you know, being a politician, just getting in the chair. But the second part about it is like, once you're there, what can you do? You know,
not a lot. You know, I remember hearing this, like, politicians only come through with about like 25% of what they promise. And think about that, like, in any other context, right? Like, you go to Walmart, you have like a pickup order, and they give you a quarter of your groceries, and then they're like, yeah, we're not going to give you your money. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is the worst. Like, you're not, like, best case scenario, you're not going back to Walmart. But like, unlike that scenario, you have like no choice in the matter. Like, once he's in, he's got all the power in the world, and it's not even up to him, but let's just say it is up to him. Like, there's no true mechanism for you to ensure that like he's going to come through on his end. He's already there. He has your money already, and there's no actual exchange there.
Yeah, and I think, and Trump is a really good case study of this. And that's what happened. Yes. Trump came back 2025, you know, return of the dawn, and now we live in the the dawn democracy. But one thing with him, I mean, and he's a really good case study of like, yeah, he got the votes, he got the popular vote. Once he gets your vote, he's done with you.
Yes.
You don't owe him anything else, and you gave him the vote because you wanted him to be in the chair. Now he's in the chair. Okay. And so what did his voters get? Very little of kind of what they asked for. But you look at his donors and who was giving him money. They, like, when you donate $100 million to a politician, you come back and ask. I mean, you do that with a little wink and a smile, saying, "I'm gonna come back and we'll talk."
Yeah.
And so you look at, you know, how much time was Elon in? I mean, Elon was one of the first people in the White House, but then you have is it Miriam Adelson? She donated $100 million.
I heard about that.
And she's always at the White House, you know, because wasn't
that the person that Trump was like, oh, that was her husband. That is just like, that just calls me anytime, and he's like, I don't care if you're the president, I'm gonna come in and talk to you.
No, her husband's dead. It's her.
Oh, didn't it used to be her husband?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's the same person.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And you know, they're a very rich, powerful, you know, Zionist family. But I mean, and again, regardless of I mean, if you give that much money, it comes with some conditions, you know, and that's who Trump is accountable to, because the people who have that much power, I mean, when you have that much money, you have that much power, which means you have a lot of influence, and they're the people that can really make Trump's life difficult.
Yes.
Because when you're talking about, okay, if, you know, back to the senator or the congressperson, we're going to primary you, where's the money coming from? You know, or the person doing the research, where's that money? So and again, these are the people who, you know, when you're talking about like the oil execs or the banking CEOs having this much access, they're the people who are the most, you know, who feel the immediate consequences of any kind of political change. You know, so if you pass a new bill for, you know, regarding healthcare, or you pass a new defense bill, you know, the Boeing CEO, he's gonna be in there, you know, or anything that's gonna affect interest rates. You have, you know, the chair of, you know, the presidents of the bank at, like, you know, not just Wells Fargo, but JP Morgan Chase, you know, all these big institutional banks that have all this money. I mean, they get to have a say, and they're the ones who, and part of their strategy, part of their corporate strategy is, we need to know what's going to happen before it happens, because we stand to lose, and we have to answer to our shareholders.
Yep.
And so we're going to be as plugged in as possible. And which to them, I mean, that makes sense. They're in the job. They're in the business of making money. They're not accountable to the voters. They're accountable to their shareholders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and maybe or maybe not. But you know, and so when they give this much money, or when, you know, the head of a company gives that much money, they're gonna want you to look out for their interests. And I think that's where really the focus needs to be, because if your voters don't, because if your voters trying to hold you accountable, I mean, with Trump, we can't. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we can try and, make his life a little more difficult, sure. But as far as direct impact on him, I think it's definitely the donors much more than the voters.
Well, and, for me, me personally, I figured out the whole gambit with Trump back in 2017. Because in 2016, like, I'll tell you, like, I was on the Trump train. Like, I thought this man was really going to come in. She's giving me this side eye. She's like, fuck you. She likes to ignore that part of my life.
Those rallies look so fun, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm not like...
Oh, no. Like, when you watch there's some compilation of, like, when they're announcing everyone in the state, like, dude, fuck Trump. But I watched that video and I still get chills. I'm still just like, damn. Like, he was the underdog, you know?
Trump the politician, man, like... He's good. He knows how to get a crowd going. Remember the state fair when he came down to the plane and or it was a helicopter.
I heard about that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, and he's a hype man, and so like, I mean, and like I'm saying, those rallies looked like a lot of fun. I mean, it was like a rock concert. He was bringing out everyone, and
the one in Butler, not so much. That one wasn't too fun.
But even like, people shout, "Lock her up." I mean, like. It's crazy, but like if I get it. Like if you're on that side of the team, like I get it.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing with me. It's like I totally got swept up in the whole like this guy, like he's not a politician. He's not from DC. Like he's a business guy.
Outsider. He's gonna
outsider.
Drain the swamp.
All that exactly. I mean, he was really the true experiment of that, right? And I remember in 2017, the first day of office, like the thing that really affected me was because my ex-wife at the time was from South Dakota, I was very aware of like what was happening with the natives there. Like they wanted to build this pipeline, and like the natives, like they were fighting police, they were protesting, they were like, no, you're not putting a pipeline, and they won. And it was like after months of battling, they finally won. And then what did Trump do the first day he went into office? He was like, fuck you, we're putting that pipeline straight through your land. And I remember that I was like, oh, he's actually just as shitty as everyone else that goes in the politics.
He had the meeting. He saw the angle.
Exactly. So like everyone in 2024 and 2025 who are now like when we're talking about like the Civil War of MAGA or whatever, right? Like I had that revelation years ago. So like when this election was coming up and people were like, no, like we're gonna vote Trump because like he's really gonna do A, B, and C. I'm like, no, he's just not.
Yeah,
he's not. He's like. The first term, he was supposed to drain the swamp. He didn't. In fact, he actually made the swamp worse. And now he's doing the same thing second term. And like, I think the lesson that taught me and has taught a lot of people is like, it's not like the people who go into Washington, they're never going to fix this shit. Like you can maybe hope and dream and whatever, but especially in this time, like this current paradigm that we're in, that shit is never going to happen. Doesn't matter if it's Trump, doesn't matter if it's Jesus Christ, like nobody's gonna come in and fix this shit. Like it's just, it is what it is.
You almost need somebody who's like borderline suicidal, willing to go in there and say, I will blow this motherfucker up. Like that's the kind of, because
they need to not have a family.
Yeah.
Like they need to be like a total lone wolf who like truly doesn't give a fuck.
Who goes in there is like, but again, there's so much gatekeeping there that the only people who are allowed to sit in that chair, are your Trumps, your Obamas, your Joe Bidens, who literally was just a chair. But
a chair with the skin hanging off
just
of
it. A chair. But I mean, someone who you can how they're gonna vote, like completely predictable.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden did nothing that shocked anyone except for not die.
That was the most shocking part. For sure.
I mean, we saw he was like leaking oil in the debate with Trump. He was glitching out. I mean, we're just like, how? Like, this is where we're at. But again, I think even that shows like we had to pretend that this person is our leader. Like, that's how much institutional backing is around that position.
Yeah.
That you have, like, we're gonna tell you that this is okay. Don't believe what you see. He's
sharp as a tack.
Yeah. Just like, what the fuck is going on?
Sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing with Trump, I mean, I kind of had the same thing with Obama. I mean, I was very, I volunteered at his campaign. I went to some of his rallies, things like that. But then it was definitely in the second term, after, you have all these wars still going on, and just really seeing him just like, oh, he's just a politician.
Yeah.
I get him. He's still my favorite politician, but he's just a politician. And for me, like, that kind of, and with Trump, I was like, maybe he'll shake. No. He's not going to do any of these things, because, again, like, he also understands how the sausage is made in Washington.
Yes.
I think once you see how the sausage is made, once and I think that's him being a showman is kind of all he has right now. Like, I mean, kind of because if you look at the stats, if we go, and check, like, what's going on, check the scoreboard.
Ooh, he's down in the approval ratings.
Not just the approval ratings, the economy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
And nothing's really affordable, and just the national sentiment is not good, and so you kind of have to do these big showy things. That's all he has, and the thing kind of just saying, like, when you're really back down, just default to what you know best. His thing is, I gotta let's make this a fucking a TV show, give him a spectacle that I can do.
Exactly.
That I know that I can do well. How about healthcare? Remember when you're talking about we're gonna have bigger, better. What do you say? We have concepts of a plan for healthcare. I'm just like, no, that's never gonna happen. That's never, ever gonna happen. And even the whole thing with Doge, like, what did we learn? The Pentagon didn't like.
That has to be the biggest reveal of all, right? The fact that whole thing fell apart.
Yeah,
they were
so
like
quickly.
It was like I can't think of words today. It was like a Fugazi, It was like they basically they were just like they were like calling their bluff. It's like, oh, we're really going to clean up, and then they're like, are you? Like, not really. We're just gonna keep doing our shit.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think they started digging, and then they opened a door and they're like, what the fuck? So two options. Deal with this or shut the fucking door. And I think they're like, we're just gonna close the door. We're not gonna, because I mean, I don't even I can't even begin to describe like how much shit like the Pentagon is literally just like a black pool of money.
Yeah, that
is never like and the thing is, you never have to disclose it because like why would we want to have to go to Congress when we're trying to run a secret op, we're trying to kill this Chinese guy that is stealing military secrets, and when you take him out and make it look like an accident, we're not going to Congress and asking them for money to do that.
Yeah,
and that's just like, that's a small operation for the Pentagon, but also, I mean, you're doing all these kinds of crazy research projects that cost lots of money, and if they come out to nothing, you're gonna write the report, you're gonna throw it away. You're gonna be like, yeah, that's fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
On to the next thing.
We're just gonna,
and so going back to Trump, I think, and I think this is a weakness of every president, is you have to overpromise to get in that position. You have to come in there and make the people feel hopeful. You have to sell this time for sure. This is the most consequential election. And we like, shut the fuck up. You've been saying this you guys say this all and nothing ever fucking changes, but everybody gets paid. And that thing, like the whole election thing, that's like, for me this year, I was like, oh, this is a circus. like they don't really care who wins. Like I know what policies are going to happen and what's not going to happen. No, but as far as like the whole campaign thing, Kamala burned what it's like $1 billion.
Oof.
In like 100 days of campaigning. I'm like, wait, what?
You want to look that up because
Like,
I think you're about right.
Like,
how much money did Kamala burn in her
in her campaign? I mean, like she had so much, and again, all that money got paid out. All those donations went somewhere, and the extra went into somebody's.
Call Her Daddy podcast.
What's the summary say? Oh, $1.5 billion.
Ooh.
And so.
Okay, sorry to hit the show more thing. $654 million on media buys, digital ads, and even booking spots at the Las Vegas Sphere. God, that's such a waste of money.
Yeah.
So literally more than a third of their what they spent was like meaningless because and it was so stupid too because like I'm telling you, man, like the whole thing with her going on the Rogan podcast, like her not going on the Rogan podcast, like it was kind of a dicey thing, right? Because she was such a bad, and maybe we talked about this last time, so whatever, but like she was such a dicey candidate because like she didn't know her shit. Like she literally, like when they asked her on a podcast or a show or something, they were like, what would you change about this? And she's like, nothing. And it's like, what? Like that's the whole point of you being here.
And why the fuck should we vote for you? We don't like what's going on now.
Exactly.
See, and that's the biggest weakness with Kamala that I think a lot of people have trouble admitting. Mm-hmm. She's good in Washington. She knows how the game is played from the inside. When she has to come outside,
she pops her pussy. All works out,
But I mean, like Kamala, she's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like when she gets a chance, she's like a soccer reference. She can only score off a set piece, like a pre-designed something that she can do.
Sure.
Like for a Senate hearing, she'll have this zinger ready to go, this line of questioning, or in the debate with Trump, she got time to prep, and so she knew how to get him off his game. But when she has to go and think on her feet and do like a live, like this 60 Minutes thing that had to cut up and like make it make sense, she goes on The View, people are like, what the fuck are you saying? And like that part, like the part that Obama and Trump are good at, she sucks at. Like she's not good at just going out there riffing, being on the campaign trail and being able to answer questions from people and just like interact with normal people. Or pretend to. Like Trump is not a normal person, but he knows how to like
he knows how to fake it
and make other people feel good about what he's saying. Obama did that. He's out here kissing babies and all these things. And even Joe Biden, when he's still functioning, he could kind of do that with his old people. I remember he was like challenging a guy to a push-up contest when he was running, because somebody asked him about how durable he is or whatever. And that's why I'm like, Kamala's not good. And people are like, you're a racist and sex. I'm like, no, because she's never won anything.
Yeah,
she didn't even win like fucking one delegate. She got less delegates than Andrew Yang. Like, or even like not even her own fucking state. She wasn't willing to like go in that primary. And she's the best person that the Democrats have. Like, you guys are reaching. You guys are really asking me to believe that like there's no one else that can do this. Like even if like Pete Buttigieg, better at politics. I mean, better on a campaign than Kamala. He can go on a podcast. And again, you don't have to like what he's saying. Like Gavin Newsom, don't like any of his fucking policies. He's good on camera. He's good on his feet. He can be at a debate. Like, if you need a guy to run, that's who you go with. But pretending someone who's not good is good is going to lead to a very predictable result against somebody who, like, and that's why Trump was like, just fucking, you knew how that was going to go.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's, let's actually, do you mind going back to that, where the notes are, but just on the first tab, just so we can see where we're at. But, I mean, Trump was one of, if not the best political comeback stories, like,
oh man,
ever. The fact that he's president now, like, if you have lived in these last 10 years and like seen, you know, not even like the corporate press and that whole narrative, but like how just people in general have been about him, the fact that he's the president, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he has completely fucked it all up. And like with the Epstein thing especially,
oh man,
I mean, that has been just the worst. I think, look, with the stuff with like Israel and Iran, there's always a group of people who are going to justify that and be like, oh well, he's doing all these shitty things, but like the ends justify the means, whatever. Like, we need to do all these really horrible things to have this outcome. You cannot justify pedophilia. Like, there's no sane world where you can like say like, oh yeah, he's fine. Like, you know, him, all this stuff with Epstein, like, you know, like nobody can look at that in the face without like being completely ignorant and shutting it out of their consciousness and admit that that's okay.
Yeah, and it comes down to like, what are you asking people to believe?
Yes,
what's going on like.
That's the thing. The story flip-flops so many times.
Yeah.
The files didn't exist, and then like, oh,
they're on my desk, and then they don't exist.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
They're Democratic a hoax, and then we're gonna release
that was
them
the worst one.
completely like redacted. God. Like, and I think that was the complete loss of credibility, because that's when you're like, oh, okay, we're all being fucking played.
Yep.
Like, and that's why I'm like, they're all the same team. Like the red team, like it's all the same. It's all the same people who are doing the same shit, and they all fuck each other and laugh about it, because like because that's expecting them to snitch on themselves, to say this is how fucked up we actually are behind the scenes. Because like, you got Bill Clinton in the Epstein Files and going back and forth on that island. If he's willing to get a blowjob in the Oval Office, what do you think is gonna happen when you put him on a fucking island alone with you know? So it's like,
and dude, that's like I think that's the really telling part about why, you know, he's guilty and implicated in these files. Is like, if that was the big smoking gun Clinton, he would have put that out like his first 100 days. He would have been like, all right, here's all this shit Clinton did, fuck Clinton, fuck Hillary, whatever. Like he would have laid that all on the table.
Yeah, and I think that's why they had to kill Epstein, or I think allegedly. But I mean, if he's there, and even just like, this is his island. He knows what's going on there. You don't even need video. All he has to do is go under oath and say, this is what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of circumstantial evidence or actual evidence, you know, but I mean, it's like, you know, he can fuck it up for everybody.
Yes.
It's not just like pretending that only Republicans are corrupt or only Democrats are corrupt. No, everyone is corruptible. Everyone's capable of doing horrible, horrible things. And the fact that, you know, one of the biggest things that, and again, I didn't vote for Trump, but I was hoping we would get to these fucking files so we know who the fuck is in them. Yes. If there's people out here, like, you know, going on the islands and like molesting children and getting away with that, fuck that. We need to name those people so we can fucking make them pay some real serious consequences.
If you think the government had any job, it would be that, right? Yeah. Like if they were truly for the people, if they were truly for protecting the people,
the most vulnerable members of society.
Because let's even forget the whole like they did this in the past, whatever. Like, if you're going to continue to cover these people, they're going to continue to be predators. They're going to continue to exploit people and do all these horrible things. Like, that's what you were allowing to happen.
Yeah.
And look, I get the whole argument of like, you don't want to re-victimize the victims or all that, whatever. I think most of those victims would be comfortable being, you know, having their name out there in order to like take these people down. But B, I feel like that there's just a bigger thing at play here, in my personal opinion.
No. And I agree with that. And I say that with the full sensitivity.
Yes.
Because that goes beyond just impacting one individual person to this whole thing could be extremely corrupt. Mm-hmm. And if it's as bad as we think, we really need to fucking address that. And there have to be real consequences, because it's not, and I think one of the biggest things getting lost in this, when money moves around, when you're talking about moving around billions, when money's moving around, when you're moving around weapons, these are things that Jeffrey Epstein did. And so when you're working with a lot of big players, outside of the government. And so you're talking about bank executives. You're talking about people who run hedge funds. You're talking about, I mean, it could even be, the person who's in charge of JFK Airport or the main airport in Paris or whatever. Sure. I mean, and you're implicating a lot of people into something that we can potentially burn it all down. But I think that's something that you need, that radical level of transparency, because if you don't have that, then there's nothing to stop the system from continuing to perpetuate.
Okay, we're back. As everybody knows, animals rule the world. Pets rule the world. Everything is dictated by your pet.
Depends on what side of the world you're on.
People think Africa's bad, but actually, they have more autonomy than we do. But let's talk about. Let's just briefly touch on some of the stuff, because we're doing the review. Briefly touch on some of the stuff that's happened with kind of overseas with the conflicts, namely in Gaza and Iran's quote unquote 12-day war, which I think right now is potentially look like that's going to be restarted, from what I understand. And what's the other one?
Oh,
Ukraine a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, I'll throw Ukraine and Gaza in kind of the same boat. I mean, with Gaza, yes, there is a informal ceasefire, I'll call it, because they're still bombing them every couple of days and still taking, pot shots at Palestinians here.
Oh yeah, the whole ceasefire thing's bullshit. They're still doing their shit.
But what do you want?
Honey.
And talking about the 12-day war, that one was, and that's one that, man, I don't think I've ever followed a war this closely. And for me, it was all like mainstream media, because like you're only gonna get one side from it, and even like with the war coverage, whatever side that your country's aligned with, you're gonna get like you should just expect propaganda. Yes. Because like the first casualty of war is the truth, which I understand, because again, it's once you're in a war, I mean that's everything. Your people could get killed, and you don't have to do anything to damage the morale. But seeing,
come on, dude. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. But for me, I think what was really communicated is the commitment that Israel and the United States have for regime change in Iran, because it wasn't just exchanging missiles and things like that. I mean, there was a full-on like campaign. I mean, you have the Israelis calling Iranian generals saying, "We'll murder your family unless you record yourself saying, we need to bring back the I think they had the son of the Shah, or down with the Ayatollah," all these things. And so, I mean, and that was that was a regime change operation attempt, because like they were really trying to get them to not just, because I mean, you're not going to defeat Iran, and unless you nuke them, it's too big of a country, to defeat in 12 days. So I think what they were trying to accomplish was this, and very successful decapitation strike on the heads of their military, and trying to to force regime change. But I mean, the Iranians, I mean, they shot back, and again, they're not a great military power. But I think one thing that this war demonstrated, and again, all these proxy wars, I think this is kind of the new way that we're fighting wars now. Yeah. To protect is you measure your military capabilities, you test them out somewhere far away from your population. Like this war in Ukraine, that's NATO versus Russia. Yeah. It's not like if NATO and if the US stopped sending all the support, the war is over. Yes. In the next day. And so same thing with the Iran war. I mean, that's, the US had, I think, like 4 whole like carrier groups playing max defense for Israel during that war. And the Iranians were still able to get some of the ballistic missiles landing in there. And Israel is the most defended country in the world against any kind of, and it's not just by the number of missiles, it's because it's a small country. It's a lot easier to defend a small area than it is like Russia is really fucking.
Yeah, that's very big.
You can't have full missile defense over, I mean, I'm sure where's that one going? In Siberia, let it go. You don't give a shit. But Israel is not only small, but the population is also very concentrated in a small area. And so you have to have that kind of air defense systems. And I think the two biggest things that came out of there is like, one, defense is way harder than offense, and it's also way, way more expensive.
True. Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I mean, the whole Ukraine thing, I think that's just both the sides are dug in. But I mean, the Russians and their doctrine now is they're trying to win slowly. They're not doing these large maneuvers. Every offensive action that they've done has been relatively small, since 2022. And I think that's one thing that they learned really quickly is with all these drones, satellites, you can't just line up 50 tanks and start driving straight. You're gonna get, they're gonna get destroyed. And you don't have to blow up the tank completely. Just take out some of the tracks of the drone and then just a parked tank.
Yeah,
and
true.
you just bomb the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And so it's really changed how wars, or even just like, I mean, it used to be you'd have like a squad of soldiers would be like 10, 12, soldiers. Now they're in like groups of 4 on motorcycles, and it's, and so just the way that this war is being fought, I mean, it's changing doctrine completely, because it used to be, whatever side has the most, shells or the biggest tanks. And now it's like tanks are fucking slow and they're loud and they can't move at night. Because drones, I mean, it's technically harder to see at night, but like, you have, you can't really hide a tank. There's too much heat that it produces. And once you fire a shell, we know exactly where you are.
Yes. Yes.
And so I think this war, I mean, it's completely changing how war is going to be fought moving forward. And it's really showing, hey, what's really important right now, even like the whole air superiority thing, that's a huge thing, but that's not the advantage it used to be, because air defense has got so much better now, and just drones running interference, and you lose an aircraft, you're talking about $20 million on the cheap end to a $10,000 drone, or a $50,000 missile. You do that math, and how much, and just the time that it takes to produce something like that. And so I think that's
very true.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what's made me, and again, I hope that I'm right on this, that war with China, or a direct war with China, or direct war with Russia, is less likely now, because we know what we can do to each other.
Yes, I agree.
And the one thing is, like, if you want to, like, it's going to be bloody. Unless we nuke everybody, it's going to be bloody. It's going to be slow. Like NATO, they're trying to win against Russia. The Russians are trying to win too. And so, like, and I mean, you'd have NATO soldiers trying to train these Ukrainians. And I remember I was watching a news story about this in France.
You told me about that.
Yeah. And they're like, what about the drones? They're like, and they're not even incorporating them in their training maneuvers. I'm like, they listen to drones all fucking day. And you're telling them to pop out and go run around, and like no, you can't fucking do anything.
I think you got caught in your shoe there.
Jeez. Okay.
No, it's crazy though. Like I remember you telling me that how the Ukraine soldiers were just like, they're going AWOL and just fucking. Maybe we talked about that last time.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, the people training you are like teaching you how to fucking die. They're like, we don't need more bullets. We need shovels today. And then 2 more things on that net is now they have these nets that cover like their supply lines. So now you have guys going there and literally putting up nets to Emily, do you want to like Google Ukraine drone nets? Like, so now we're using drone nets as protection in 2026.
Just images. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so because, I mean, that's kind of how you because otherwise it's a direct shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's completely, or even that truck right there, I mean, it kind of has a net around it or a cage built around it. And I remember when the Russians started doing that, we're like, what are you guys doing putting cages on tanks? And they're like, you guys don't fucking understand. this is how we're fighting wars now. But yeah, I mean, I think that was gonna drag on for a while. But I mean, yeah, Ukraine's gonna lose 20% of their territory. I think they need to bring it to an end before, like, and it's just a lot of people dying for no fucking reason. But there's so much money being made on this, and this war, it's good for kind of both sides because they're gathering intelligence on how to fight each other.
I didn't even think about that.
I mean, Ukraine, they're using our satellites. Before, I mean, if they're gonna go on even a bombing run, we're the first ones to know. We know if it's successful. If it's unsuccessful, we know what shot us down, how we got shot down, and I mean, that's valuable information that you have. I saw that the Russians, I mean, they used one of their missiles, the Orezhnik, that Ukraine has no defense for. And so, I mean, just like, and now, I mean, and it's one thing to bomb, Bakhmut, Ukraine, but then, if you know that whatever you have in Ukraine can't shoot down that missile, that means that your other cities are vulnerable too. And so that's what's being communicated in this war, and it just sucks that the Ukrainian people are the ones that this is happening to.
That's always the worst part. I mean, it's like what's happening in Gaza too, right? It's like, you can play this game where you're like, oh, this strategy is going to help this, and we're going to get this, but like, it never talks about the real tragedy of war, which is not even the soldiers, like the citizens, right? Like the people who are just there, like essentially held captive by their government. Like they don't have any real choice on what happens.
Exactly, yeah. That's someone's kid being fucking droned or being chased by a drone. Yeah. And then some fucking dude puts fucking music behind it. Like it's disgusting, man. It's crazy. It's insane. But yeah, so just going back to our list of topics over here. There was. I know you want to talk about Charlie.
Yes. Let's talk. I feel like we can't not talk about that. That was such a huge shift in. I mean, really the media landscape in general, but just I think it was one of the most telling things about where we are culturally that I've seen in a long time. I remember when that happened, and I saw the. I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit, but like I saw that happen, and like I haven't gone back and looked at it since, because it's one of the most disturbing things that I always tell people, like, if you have not seen the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot, like, do not see it. It's truly awful. No. I remember that night I got like 2 hours of sleep. I like stayed up and like wrote this whole thing that I posted on Facebook, because like I was just like, my brain was just churning and spinning. Like, I remember like I would get in arguments with my dad about like the violence in movies, right? How it's like, oh, like if this happened on the street, like nobody would even care because they're so desensitized to this. And there's something about like when something like that happens and you are affected that badly by it. I mean, like, and look, like I wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk by any means. Like I disagreed with most of what he said. But he was still a person. He was still a human being. I don't think he was by no means a government official. Like, look, I think like when like, Trump had the assassination attempt, or like that, even that CEO guy, like I can kind of wrap my head around that a little bit, because it's like, I don't think it's right at the end of the day, but it's like, okay, like these people they are in positions of power. And there is an argument to being like, oh, hey, we got to take out the powerful to whatever. Again, I don't agree with that, but I can at least like, I can understand why somebody would feel that way. Mm. To revel in the death of this person who was literally, I mean, he did what you and I were doing. Yeah, he went to campuses or whatever, but I mean, he used his voice. Yes, he ran a company, but like it wasn't like, it was not the same thing as like a president or like a healthcare CEO. It was just, and so to see people just revel in this and enjoy it. Like there are people that like I just completely took out of my life because of that. Yeah. Because it was just like I'm like, I can't understand how you can look at the situation and have any feeling other than just disgust.
Yeah, and for me at first, I had the same immediate reaction, just like complete disgust, because you have all these people posting and just like laughing and like enjoying the death of this person, and like, you know, he's a dad, so I'm sensitive to to that as well. And like, these kids have to grow up in a world where his kid
was there.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, the kid ran to him because like I think it was his daughter like heard the shots and was scared and like ran to him for comfort, and it was. So, like, she has to live with that for the rest of her life. And
go to school where that video is always somewhere. You know, and people reveling in that. I mean, that was my first reaction. And then, like, the madder I got, the more I'm like, why do I feel this way? And I don't know if I'm just so radicalized that I'm like, I feel like this is being pushed because you need someone to be mad at, and there's always the other side. And the people who push this, they know that it will get engagement, and so that's kind of what I was like, okay, I mean, like, it's the fact that people are doing this is fucked up, but this is also really being pushed to tear people apart because, one, it makes money, but also, two, if you think that this was for, you know, other nefarious reasons than some kid just, you know, killing him, I mean, that's really good cover, and then people remember that because it's very emotional. But then the people behind every algorithm, they also understand that. They know what's gonna get you, you know, writing a long message at, you know, 2 a.m. on Facebook, and so that's kind of been my lens. Anytime I get deeply angry online, I try to like, who wants me to feel like this, you know, and how. That's do they fair. Profit from this? Which, again, it doesn't excuse the people who made those videos, but then it just leads to this general, just like, everyone hates each other, and I can always say, well, your team was happy when my guy died, so fuck you guys now that, you know, your person died. And, you know, like, you have more people just like angry at some random person than the people who actually killed Charlie Kirk. And I guess you can kind of make the case where like reveling in murder might almost be not as bad, but like, you know, pretty fucking bad. Like, I think you're a disgusting person and you're here, so fuck you. You know, go. I mean, look, fuck yourself.
Is it as bad as actually killing someone?
Yeah, probably not. Like, but it can feel like that.
Yeah,
exactly. It can definitely feel like that. But just the assassination in itself. I mean, and his voice. I mean, he had an extremely powerful voice. He was extremely influential, and it's just so weird how everything was like pre-prepared for him to be a martyr. You know, like it was because they put his funeral together. I mean, it was just. And again, like whatever conspiracy you want to sign up for, but to me, I'm just like this. The fact that the people who are closest to him don't feel as affected. I was talking to my wife yesterday. I'm like, if I got assassinated for talking shit, how long would it take you to forgive the person who shot me? And she was like, fucking never. I'm like, okay. Like, you know, because, or at least not a couple of weeks, you know, like that's, I need some time to process.
I mean, I will say, I can kind of understand that a little more because, like, you know, Charlie Kirk was a hyper Christian. Yeah. And like, you can kind of like, I feel like it's almost, it's like the textbook Christian thing to do, right? Yeah. So like, but look, I think I'm not really on board with the whole like Israel killed Charlie Kirk. No. I just don't really think that's there just isn't really a lot of evidence for that. Like people can, something like that. There's a real problem in society and like thinking where people will start from the conclusion and work their way back. And that's the worst way to actually, you know, come to truth, right? It's like, there's no evidence in that. You're literally just like, okay, here's what I think happened and I'm going to build back and I'm going to, it's like the Candace Owens thing, right? Like maybe you're more of a fan of her than I am, but like, you know, she does the same thing, right? Like she starts with the conclusions, I didn't listen to it, but I asked Grok for like a TDLR of her last episode. And hey, honey, It was like basically essentially her saying like, oh, I think this happened to Charlie because of these things and these things and these things. And it's not like there's any actual evidence attributed to Charlie Kirk. It's just like, I see these things happening and it seems like something that would have happened. So therefore I think that's what happened. And that's just not a good way to do this.
Yeah. And I do, I'm a Candace fan, and I do listen to her because
I didn't mean to out you.
No, you're good. But again, I mean, and I try to keep a rational mind when I'm listening. But I think the biggest thing that she's done is she's not allowed this to just be another shooting, another high-profile assassination that we immediately move on from. Because that seems to be the pattern. Like the fact that we don't know all the details about how the fuck somebody could just go and shoot the president, Donald Trump, and this is an unknown person, and then okay, case closed, on to the next thing, or I think Tucker Carlson did something about the Vegas shooting, and that was wrapped up really quickly. And with the Charlie Kirk thing, it was wrapped up really quickly, and then it's on to the next thing. But then, and again, with me, like when you stop answering my questions, I get more suspicious, and when your immediate reaction is shut the fuck up, or, oh, so what are you saying? Israel did it? It's like, no, I'm saying, like, what are you asking me to believe right now? And what are you saying? Why are you contradicting yourself? Like, this just seems like a shady, or and what gives Candace some credibility is Kash Patel running this fucking insane, like, saying we got the guy, we don't have the guy, and even simple questions like, okay, we know how when someone gets arrested, they go to the and you said that this person was he turned himself in, or he was sent in by his family. Yeah, and so I mean, I definitely don't think the federal government helped themselves, and there's so much skepticism now, and I think it's even just worth like, okay, like, what Candace is saying isn't crazier than what you're fucking telling me, and you're saying this guy was your friend, and you're telling him to rest in Valhalla. He's fucking Catholic. Since when did Catholics rest in Valhalla? Did I miss?
Was he Catholic?
Yeah.
I thought he was more of a Protestant.
No. He's extremely Catholic. But then the fact that the person who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, I mean, just even getting the footage of him going to jail and turning himself in, that footage is gone. I'm like, what police station in a major city doesn't have their cameras on all the time? And so when you start having all these weird things, and I hope that this is just like very straightforward case, but the fact that the answer to everything is shut the fuck up, or no, you think it's Israel, there's no proof that it's Israel. I'm not fucking saying that it's Israel, I'm saying that it's weird. Well,
and that's kind of my point, is like, two things can be true, right? It could not be Israel, it can also be weird. Like with the Butler thing, like it could have.
Yes, I don't think it was the Iranians who sent the kid.
Like it could have not been a government psyop. It could also just be some weird shit surrounding this, right?
Yeah, and people are fucking weird. There's a lot of weird shit going on. But the fact that you're so eager for me to buy your story over everything else, and you're asking me to ignore things that in any normal investigation you would say, okay, well, I mean, that's kind of suspicious. So he used a gun, and you found it in a box. Like,
did they really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So the murder weapon was in a box in the woods, or So yeah, it was inside. So I'm like, and they took a picture of it in the box. I'm like, where the fuck did he? Why? If you're gonna go assassinate, why would you bring a box to hide your weapon in?
He got lucky, David.
And initially they're saying that he put it together on the roof, and then he took it apart, and then he put it back together. I'm like, and even there's no clear, like, and there's cameras that have clear angles, and there's none of that footage has been released. None of the clear. We get these like blurry photos or an AI enhanced version of it. So I'm just like, you're trying to make me crazy. Like, I'm trying to be normal. You keep doing weird shit. Like, what the fuck? Or even the text messages that you released that he sent to his lover, why aren't they fucking timestamped? Like, every you know, like, and that's a simple, on this date he said this. I'm like, okay, well, that adds credibility to your side.
A 14-year-old could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, like, I don't know who did it. I'm like, the way you're doing this is kind of making me like, if this was an op, if it wasn't, I feel like you're trying to make it look like one, because the fact that you're just not disclosing these basic facts about the investigation, or able to answer a question, did he or did he not put together the rifle on the roof or not? You know what I mean? That's because it takes a while to put together a rifle. I don't know if you ever shot a gun before, but it's not like, even you could be a fucking Navy SEAL, you would still need close to a minute at minimum if you're really good at it. And you're saying he got this shot off and then he jumped off and then he, like, it's a very, and so what Candace is doing, she's just pointing out all these weird shit. And yeah, she has her fucking theories that will take you on a loop, but the door is wide open. Because the truth
isn't there. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Like, when you have the mechanism that's supposed to give us the truth, the state, when they're completely dropping the ball and almost intentionally, like, yeah, that's naturally going to lead people to just, like, people who have used that as a source of trust. Like, what the fuck are they supposed to do then? They're gonna go down. They're gonna find the next best thing. And you know, people are emotional. People are gonna say, oh, like, people don't like not having answers, right? So, like, if, like, Israel did it,
basic questions.
Yes, exactly. Like, Israel did it is like a simple narrative that they can put in their head, right? Like, people don't like not having answers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And for me, like, what really got me red pill on this was, like, it wasn't Candace. It was a Arizona news reporter trying to get footage of the shooter turning himself in or being arrested. I'm like, outside the police station, there's lots of cameras that are on all the time. And you're like, all the cameras were off. You're bringing in a profile for the highest, you know what I mean? You're bringing in a suspect for the highest profile shooting we've ever had. And you don't think the cops who arrested him want to, you know, that we got the guy who killed, you know, it was like, and this was a Freedom of Information Act request, and he got denied, and they told him, we don't have it.
Yeah.
Not just that, like, I'm like, that to me is like, that to me was if I'm okay, this doesn't feel right at all. You know, because police stations, I mean, like, that's where the perp is. That's where the evidence is. That's where all these things are. And if they're involved, and I don't know, I've been reading Chaos, so my head's all over there. But, like, the fact that you're asking me, you know, I'm seeing all this weird shit, and you're asking me to believe that the government doesn't do weird shit when we know they fucking do weird shit. So when I start seeing weird shit, I'm like, yo, I'm not going full conspiracy, but my weird shit alert is on, because this is fucking crazy.
Well, and the thing is, like, it could be really simple, right? It could be like let's look at, like, the Butler, Pennsylvania thing. Like, I firmly, like, this is just my theory. Like, I think a lot of the reason why they haven't revealed a lot of that is because it makes them look bad.
Yeah.
I don't really think that, like, the Secret Service was, like, in on. I think Biden purposely didn't, like, give enough Secret Service to Trump in order to, like, you know, maybe let something like this, like, or maybe not even intentionally, but just be like, yeah, I'm just not going to give him that much Secret Service because he's my opponent and fuck him, and the state's corrupt and they're not going to do what they should do, right? And then when you have someone like, what was it, Thomas, what's his name?
Crooks.
Thomas Crooks, yeah. When you have Thomas Crooks, who, you know, wasn't the black, I can't think of names today, the black, not black people, but, like, the company.
BlackRock.
BlackRock, there we go.
The black.
That was the wrong part of the word to remember. I should have remembered rock and not the black
He's
part.
Not black. But the guy who shot him, the real shooter.
Typical.
So I missed. He wasn't holding his gun sideways.
That's too funny. But anyways, the fact that, you know, he was in a Black Rock video and he had these like certain leanings, I think it's way more likely that the government was just like, we don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
Like we're under so much scrutiny as it is. Like what's, you know, if we can easily do this, what's one more thing to just say?
A fucking child can climb on a thing and just take a pot shot at the future leader of the world, and
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it can be just that simple.
It can be that simple. Which again, I hope so. But I mean, the fact that there's also, and I think what Candace is doing also is what's really pissing off Turning Point is she's opening up other angles for motive. When you see like money, because you have Turning Point, then you have Turning Point Faith, which is another company, in which and money's being moved from Turning Point into Turning Point Faith, and it's going to all kinds of people. And Charlie wanted to get to the bottom of that. And so, does that mean that they hired some hitman to kill him? No. But once people have an incentive to cover something up or not be exposed, that opens up another angle, which would piss off the people trying to prosecute this guy, because like, okay, well, there's, you know, because it has to be, I mean, this Arizona is a death penalty state, and so like we're talking about not just finding someone guilty, but potentially being able to give the state the power to kill them. And so you have to be absolutely fucking sure, beyond a reasonable doubt, not just to convict, but also to, you know, sentence this man to death. And so anything that can be, you know, that can muddy the waters or say, well, here's another angle, that could be treated with with the utmost hostility, because that the prosecution that you're trying to fuck our case up, and so that's why I try and keep a reasonable mind when I'm listening to Candace or Ian Carroll also.
I know of him. I haven't listened to his show though.
And he's more like factual detailing. Candace just like to throw shit on the wall.
I had a dream.
See what sticks.
I had a dream Israel killed him.
It was me all along.
It was the bee people. Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I think like that. The government doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. That's where I'm at.
Yes.
So especially with fucking Kash Patel and his country ass girlfriend, and I don't know, like this is the guy like running, like this is like the main cop in America is this fucking guy. Like it's crazy. And so
yeah, well, you see that Rogan interview, and it's like, what the? It didn't even make any sense why he went on. Honestly, he's just like, oh, I went on to tell you that I have nothing. It's like, okay.
And so and with Charlie, I mean, there's just the fact that Turning Point and Erica were so willing to just, you know, move on, and now you do have like this split in MAGA, but I think the split in MAGA is also it's more so Epstein Files, and I think Charlie Kirk. I think everyone's sad that he's murdered, you know, that he got murdered, but it's definitely the Epstein Files.
100%.
And so.
Well, it's the Epstein Files and it's Israel.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of it. I mean, probably less so Israel, because I can see a lot of his
Israel
base.
really opened that door.
Yes.
And with the Epstein Files and the potential Israel connection, or there is an Israel connection between Jeffrey Epstein, especially directly through his through Ghislaine. Her dad was a major,
huge Israel guy.
Yeah. I mean, he got a state funeral in Israel.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's in the.
It was in the Daryl Cooper thing.
Yeah. So I mean, he got a state funeral. Like all the head honchos were there, you know, and so they liked him. I can say that with a lot of comments. He was very near and dear to them. But just that opening the door, and then with the Epstein Files, I think, and that really shows that and I think one thing that we should have added on here was Nick Fuentes coming back into the chat.
Oh, that's right.
And
him, he basically took the place of Charlie Kirk in a lot of ways.
Yeah, honestly. And with him, I mean, it's, you know, the America firsters versus the Trump administration and their priorities. You know, because there are people who are like willing to completely defend that, and the people who are saying, you've left MAGA, we're still here, we're still about fucking America, and you know, America first before anybody else's, before any other country, before anyone else's, you know, political priorities. We need to make sure we take care of America. And they feel like MAGA has really shifted because you have all these former anti-Trumpers, your Ted Cruz's, your, you know, Marco Rubio's in the administration, like that all these people who were never in from day one.
Ben Shapiro
claiming that they're MAGA. It's like, no, the fuck you're not. You know, like, you weren't with us, and you know, from the jump. You just came on because it's cool now.
Yeah.
You know, because
turn on dime.
Yeah, because 2024 was fun. Like, that was a fun campaign. You know, that was the biggest political comeback. You want to be part of the ride and also insert your priorities. And Fuentes, he's on that side saying, you fuckers, you guys aren't American first.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting how, because I never listened to him prior to, and even now, I mean, I don't agree with most of what he says, but he's fucking funny, man.
He is a comedian.
And that's the thing. Like, and people can say what you want. Like, if you're funny and you can make people laugh, like, that does so much for you as far as getting your message across.
He's smart and he's charismatic.
Yeah.
And if you have those two things in an audience, like, the sky's the limit at that point.
And,
I mean, that's Trump in a sense.
Yeah, and
you
being
know?
funny lets you get away with shit.
Yes.
That most other people can't. Because if you say something and it's not fucking funny, then you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Or if you say something offensive and it's funny.
I mean, that's kind of like the thing with Dave Smith, right? Like, I do really hate, like, the whole, like, how it's like, oh, he's a comedian or whatever, right? But, like, when you are in that world, like, if you ever listen to Legion of Skanks, like, it's the most fucking offensive show ever. But like that's his starting point. So, like, there's nothing, you know. He did a debate with Alex Berenstein. And it was actually really funny because, like, every time he played the clip, it just got funnier and funnier. He took this clip from like 10 years prior where he did this podcast with Jake Shields, and Jake Shields was talking about the Holocaust, and then Dave made a joke. He's like, "Well, it actually happened," but it was clearly a joke, right? Yeah. Because that's what he does. He's a comedian, and like Alex Berenstein just kept autistically playing it, like, play it again, and he's like, "What are you doing, dude? This is the gayest shit ever."
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, even for Trump, right? Remember when you can't say these things about women. He's like, you know, you said all these bad things about women. He's like, you know, sometimes with Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, that was hilarious! And he literally is a comedian.
Yeah, because if you say something offensive and people are laughing, and then the person who's supposed to be offended is like, they're the weirdo because they're not laughing.
Exactly. You know, like, you're the one with the stick up your ass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Fuentes, he has that going for him, but he's also like, and he is kind of two people. He's Nick Fuentes when he's on, you know, Twitter, or he's doing his live show, and then there's him in an interview, and he knows how to flip that switch.
Yes,
he's somebody who gets the fucking game. Like, he knows how, and he understands it not just from the campaign level. You know, you got to put on the show, but also the mechanics.
Well, and he understands the media landscape.
Yeah.
Like, he understands that really well, that, like, that was apparent on, like, the Piers Morgan show, right? The one moment that keeps replaying in my head is when Piers is like, you make all these abhorrent jokes about the Holocaust, and he's just like, too soon? It's like the perfect response, because it's like, and then Piers, he didn't even have anything to say. He's just like, God damn it, you got me.
See, and Piers is good too, because Piers was pressing him about, especially the things about his dad, and
that just made him look like an asshole. Yeah, it's like, dude, that's like, you don't bring family into that shit. It's like this. It's like the stuff with Dan Bongino and Dave Smith. It's like, dude, the minute you bring family into it, cards off the table. Like, that's when shit really pops off.
See, and that's when Piers kind of had Nick backpedaling a little bit, but Nick he was able to recover, and he really found his footing, because he then dug into, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't, like, the shit that you're saying, it's not that really, like, you know, no, he's like, I just don't fuck. Like, I'm like,
it's like, 2025 on the internet, dude.
You know,
nobody cares.
Yeah, because he's like thinking about, like, you know, what's the difference between Hitler and Genghis Khan? Like, what numbers that they did? But, like, Genghis Khan, like, people dress up as him for Halloween and no one gives a fuck. Like, Napoleon killed a fuck ton of people. And people put him in cartoons. Don't make jokes about him. Like, no one's going to jail for dressing up as Napoleon on Halloween. Yeah. And so, I mean, and Piers tried to rattle him. And Piers is a good interviewer. Like he's a classic, like, British trained tabloid interviewer. He knows how to, like, get on people's skin. But Nick is a different fucking kind of animal.
Yes.
He's And there's nothing that you can put him through that he's not been. Like, he has survived. He's a cockroach that have tried to kill every fucking way. But now you spray him with the raid, it makes him stronger. He fucking absorbs. He starts growing wings and shit,
Yeah. No, they're two completely different they're people from two completely different landscapes.
Different generations.
Exactly.
Different ways to piece each other off. Because Pierre's like, don't you feel bad that we had this guy come here? He's like, what the fuck are you saying? No. I don't know who the fuck this is. You want me like, does he care about me? Does he care about my family? Like, you want me to feel sad for a fucking stranger about shit that happened a long time ago?
Yeah.
It's like,
and people are human, man.
Yeah.
They have their own self-interest, and there isn't anything inherently wrong with that. Yeah. When it's wrong is when you start, like, attacking or hurting other people indiscriminately, or not even indiscriminately, but like, that's the part that matters. But like, you having to care about every single little thing is just stupid, man. Like, Piers Morgan's generation, like, preaches that all the time.
And it's pretend caring. They don't really fucking care.
That too.
We're saying the right words. We're doing the right thing. Like, pretending everyone's opinion is as valuable. I'm like, no, the fuck it's not.
When I was growing up, I had a teacher. I don't remember her name. Started with an N. Then now you maybe know. Nettenwood or something. I don't fucking know. But she had this whole. One time she got, like, really emotional. She had this whole thing, and she was like, "You can't not care. You have to care." And look, I'll tell you, 20 years later, as an adult, you don't have to care. It's okay to not care. When something happens, it's okay to be like, yeah, whatever.
There's a lot of people.
Most people don't.
Who don't give a fuck about you. Like, so, yeah. And I agree with that completely. Because, like, and the worst thing is all the fake caring. That's even worse. Like, don't give a fuck, say don't give a. Don't pretend to and then do nothing. Gosh, man, the fucking.
If you actually care, fine. But it's like 95% of the time,
especially in the age of social media.
Yes. I got in an argument with somebody. He was like, you don't like I see you, like, posting about all these controversial things, but you don't, like, post, like, when this happens or this happens or this. I'm like, yeah, man, because that's just fucking virtue signaling. Like, when people post, like, oh, I'm so sad about this, and it's like something that everyone is sad about. It's like, yeah, I don't post about that for the same reason I don't post that the sky is blue. Yeah. Like, it's a fact.
Yeah. I remember the whole looking black square.
Oh yeah, like that shit. It's like,
what are you like? What do you want me to do?
It's a trend.
Yeah, you want me to go and, like, no. The people who I care about knowing how I feel about black people, they know. I don't need to fucking post a fucking square for them to know. If you feel like you need to, sure, but this, like, going on, like, no.
Well, and honestly, that says more about you than anything, honestly. Like, if you're someone who feels like if you are so insecure with yourself that you feel like you need to give these messages,
like, yes, that's look at me, problem, I'm man. Doing the things. Like, okay, after this, like, what are you going to do? Fuck all. So, like, exactly. You just, like, you clicked your finger a couple of times, so.
Exactly.
But yeah,
let's move on to AI, and then we'll do a prediction for 2026.
I think we might need more time for AI. I might shelf that for
okay, sure.
A little bit longer. But I mean, as far as predictions for 2026, I mean, this shit started with a fucking bang.
Like, Venezuela, and then killing Renee Moon in, like, a span 9 days. Yeah,
we were supposed to deport the Venezuelans, not import. It's like, wait, what? We got plus
people are
two?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I think that goes because I think that Trump needed that. You needed a big ass win, like something, and that's the thing. Like, we know the U.S. military. Like, no one can fuck with us. Like, it's the most impressive military ever put together in the history of the world. But, like, once you kill like this, rules based order, then we're back in the fucking jungle. Like, if we can go and snatch up people from their fucking house, and ship them out of their country and put them in fucking prison with Diddy, like, if we can do that, then how are we gonna go and lecture Russia?
Yeah, right.
And China can say, hey, we're taking, like, Taiwan to them is part of China. Yeah, they're the same people. They speak the same language, and they're gonna be like, yeah, we're just repoing our shit, dude. Fuck off. Like, as far as we are concerned, or they'll just go. What if they take the lead of Taiwan? And they're like, what do you mean? It's our country, it's our hemisphere. And they can use our own justification. Like, it's in our national interest, because now that door is open. And it's like, now we're just flexing. We're not doing this fucking bullshit where, well, we have to, according to Section 9 of the whatever convention. It's like, no, we can, and you're not going to do shit about it. All the European countries, like, we're monitoring the situation. It's over. What the fuck are you talking about? Maduro's in jail. Like, what are you saying? We're like, no. And that's like, and that was the funniest thing. It's like, that's when I'm like, we should leave NATO. I think leaving NATO might be the best thing we can do for Europe, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, that would be
like they can't protect themselves. So like, we have to like care. But it's like either you guys just do whatever the fuck, because and Trump is saying we'll take Greenland. They're not gonna do shit either, because then they're caught between a rock and a hard place where their militaries are shit, because we fucking pay for it and cover it, and the Russians are across the street. And so it's like, you guys need to figure out how to protect yourself, and if that means the Germans getting tough again, that might have to be it. But like, if y'all can't fucking fight on your own, the home turf, like, you want us to fight the Russians and the Chinese? Like,
I really, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I really have a hard time believing that if we leave NATO, that all these countries are just gonna, like, it's like the argument with Ukraine, like if we don't help Ukraine, then Stalin's gonna do what Hitler did and take everything over.
Exactly.
And then something you and I have both listened to a lot is like Daryl Cooper. The thing that's like great about what he talks about is like Hitler took Poland, right? But like, so there's a theory that like that it might have stopped around there, or at least like, right? But like, what happened is England decided to attack, and then that just left the door open, right? So like, I think as just a general rule, I mean, this is just in life in general, but like even with government, like, it's always more expensive to like do these things, like expand and have all these military operations, than to not.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, I have a hard time believing. I mean, yes, there are crazy people out there. Yes, there are these really powerful governments. But I think if these things were true, that people were just going to indiscriminately take over, then we would all be gone by now, because everybody would launch nukes at each other, right? Like, there is this self-protective thing that's in every person, every institution, that I think is always going to trump like this like fantasy of like everybody being Hitler and like wanting to take over.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I agree with that completely. And also, these aren't like new countries. Germany, exactly. Italy, France, England, like, these are all, they know how to do this. They can go back into history and say, you guys, hey, we used to be strong back in the day. Germans, like, people used to fear us, and now they all think we're gay. But like,
we might be. I don't know.
But it's like, those are like the Germans, especially. It's like, you guys, like, it's even going. The Romans used to fear they invaded Germany, then they stopped. They're like, these fuckers are crazy. They can fight and they're organized, so we're good right here. Yeah. And so it's like, but if you completely take away a reason for them to like take responsibility for themselves, then nothing's gonna fucking change. And I think the Russians realize that. And I think that's what made Venezuela so dangerous, because Russia proved that being completely sanctioned doesn't fucking matter if you have something that everyone else wants, And so, like, Russia has oil and gas, and it's cold in the winter in Europe. They're still buying fucking Russian gas. Russia's selling their oil, and we're like, why is India buying their oil? And we're like, And we're trying to lecture India, saying, "Why are you guys doing that? Can't you see this?" Like, they're like, "Yo, this is just another bullshit white people war somewhere. Like, y'all do this shit all the time. Like, in 20 years, you guys are gonna be doing this again." So it's like, this has nothing to do with us. I don't know the difference between a Russian and a Ukrainian. Figure it out. We need fucking oil, you know. And like, that is not a bad position. That doesn't mean they hate Ukrainians. That just means
they need oil.
It's not a fucking problem, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if my neighbor's arguing with his wife in fucking, or somebody's arguing with his wife in California, like, I don't give a fuck. That's really not my issue to deal with, you know? Like, and that's a defensible position, because, like, you can't be in charge or just, like, imbue your morality on every person. Like, you should do this because we're doing it. You should hate the Russians. They're like, they didn't bomb us, bro.
Yeah. Well, and this is why governments do this, right? Is because they have to put that face on.
Yeah.
They have to put the face on of, oh, I really care. I really like. That's why people vote for these people, because they trick them into thinking like, oh, I'm going to be this really good person. I'm going to do things because I care. Not like I'm not beholden to any incentives or anything. Like, I'm just going to do things because I care about the people. And then they don't do that. And then they just are beholden to the incentives. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. And if Venezuela got to the point where they're like, hey, we can start selling our oil and we don't need to be part of the fucking U.S. system.
Yeah.
That's a big issue for us. Because Russia's already proven it. Like, you know, and even with all the sanctions, all the fucking Russians are still buying cars. They just buy them from Kazakhstan. Like, like the imports of BMWs in Kazakhstan increased like 3,000%.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
And then they just drive them across the border to Russia. Like sanctions are kind of a fucking joke. Like, because that means you have, like, you're either all on borders. Some people is like, or they just hire smugglers. The government be like, yo, we need Audis. Figure out a way to get it. You know, you fuckers, you can go out of jail if you can get us 3,000 Audis. And they'll figure it out because they're in jail for doing that shit. You know, so it's like, and so like, just going back to Venezuela, I mean, like, that's the reason that we have to be in control, because sanctions don't fucking work if other people are like, well, we'll play ball with you. You don't need to play ball with the Americans. What are you selling oil? Okay, cool. Guess who wants oil? Everybody else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's just their way of being the biggest player. Yeah. And, you know, we'll try to wrap up here, but like one of the things that in like my predicting of what's going to happen in 2026 is I don't think Trump's going to slow down. I don't think we're going to get any kind of reconciliation with the Epstein shit. I don't think like any of these wars I think it's just going to keep going forward. And like, you could say that makes me black-pilled, I don't know, whatever, but like, that's just my prediction. And it's really sad in a way, because, you know, when like Trump was like first coming into fruition, this is like a lot of people said about him. They were like, oh, he's going to do all these things, he's going to be this terrible like dictator like guy. And like, even when I didn't support Trump, I was just like, nah, I just don't really think that that's going to happen. Like, I just didn't think that was a real possibility. And now it's kind of like, God damn it, these motherfuckers were kind of right in a way, you know? Like, he really dropped the ball on a lot of this shit. And even if you're someone like me who didn't like him, like, you know, when there's someone in power, you want them to, like, it's stupid to like not want them to do well, right? Like,
especially something like the Epstein Files, which is aligns with what you want. Like, Yeah, and I agree with the first part of your prediction. I think he's not going to slow down. I think because I think we're going to witness like this is the last year of the Trump presidency being like effective.
Yeah, true. Midterms?
Yeah, after the midterms.
He's fucked.
Unless some crazy thing happens, which is, I'm going to leave room for that, because Trump, he's so fucking unpredictable.
It's possible. Yeah.
But unless there's some crazy fucking wins for the Republicans, I think I think they're gonna get fucking, and I don't even think the Epstein Files is gonna do it. I think it's gonna be, if he keeps up with the deportations the way that they're being executed right now, and doesn't turn that around. Like, it's one thing to deport, like, you know, criminals, but it's another thing when you start shooting U.S. citizens, and because, you know, and again, say what you want about that shooting. You can argue it either way. It's still fucking tragic. And it's like, since when is ICE in the business of fucking killing American moms?
Yeah, no,
like,
it has an effect on people.
Yeah. It's like, we wanted you, even, you know, the most MAGA is like, hey, we want you guys to get rid of, deport the illegals, not shoot moms in Minnesota. You know, and so I think that's the one thing that it's going to lose him a lot of votes to begin with, but that's going to really amp up the energy on the Democratic side. But on the Republican side, I think he's just going to have people just walk away, be like, you're full of shit, dude. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the biggest thing. Just being done. Like we're done pretending that you give a fuck about the American people. We know what projects you're invested in and what just gets lip service. Yeah, and anything that doesn't have to do with Israel or direct military conflict with someone, you don't really give a fuck about that shit, or protecting the people in the Epstein Files. You're not delivered on what we wanted as MAGA voters. I was not a MAGA voter, but that's going to be the argument. I think that's so. I think Democrats going to be very energized, and Republicans are going to be very just like, we're done with this shit.
Well, yeah, because dude, it's such low hanging fruit, right? It like the Democratic Party, they almost don't even have to do anything to get support. They can just say that's wrong, and then people will be like, yeah, you're right.
Also, I'm going to add an. I'm going to give Trump a little more credit because the Democrats can still find a way to fuck this up.
That's true.
I don't know how. They might find a way to fuck this up.
If they hold... Because, if you look back on Biden, right? There were so many other candidates that would have done so much better than Biden. And they picked the worst one. Yeah. So I agree. If they have not learned from their mistakes and they just hold on to their skis like that, you're right. I think that probably could happen. Yeah. But... who knows, man? It's weird.
I think this is a hot take. I don't think we're going to go in direct war with Iran. I think it's too expensive. And I think Iran's too dangerous right now, especially for Israel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it will be a direct... I think these proxy wars will continue, though. Mm-hmm. I think we will continue to see these proxy wars. But a full-scale war, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. Or I don't think there'll be a missile exchange between Iran and Israel. Unless ships start moving... Because again, it's too hard to hit ballistic missiles, and but whatever projects are going to get done, and they're going to be done quick in these next 11 months. I just hope people stay safe and take care of themselves.
That's the biggest thing, man. I don't want to get too far into what happened recently with that Renee Good and ICE and all that, because I'm going to do my own podcast on that. But what I always say about protesting is just be safe. Yeah. Really, at the end of the day, whether you think it's effective or not, really, because if you go out and you're that martyr or whatever, it's just not going to do anything. We've seen it time and time and time again. People die and it's sad, but then everybody moves on. It's not worth giving up your life for that shit, man.
Don't challenge the U.S. government into a violence contest.
You will lose.
That's the one thing that we're good at more than any other country. We're good at violence. So yeah. So be smart, be safe, and get your point across, have your voice heard, but definitely be careful.
Well, and there are better ways to do that now. I always make this argument, go on fucking Instagram and do a reel. I guarantee that will do more for your cause than going on the street, holding up a sign and risking getting shot. Yeah. That's just how I feel. But David, it's been a fucking awesome time, man. As
always.
We'll do this again next year, maybe sooner.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have you on soon.
Maybe we'll do a summer pod. We'll see. Or if the war does kick off, we can do some live war coverage from your basement.
Put your bets on Kalshi right now. Make some money.
Will they hit Tel Aviv?
The fucked up thing is that's already that has to be on that site already. Absolutely. Somebody's already done that.
Oh yeah. We'll have to watch those markets. So, all right. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. Anytime. Guys, McAllister's podcast. You know what's up. We're gonna be doing more episodes, more coverage. I know I kind of took a hiatus there, but we're back in action. Especially with this Minnesota, the Minneapolis stuff. I know it's not Iowa, but it's right next door. So I think it's important for people in the Midwest to be up to date about that, have the right opinions and all that. So I'll definitely be back doing that, and game streams and all that. So yeah, we got plenty of content coming for the new year. So all right, have a good night, everybody. Peace.